Right. Thanks so much again for everybody joining the kickoff for the Beyond the Looking Glass, which is, we'll get into a summary of what the mission is for Beyond the Looking Glass, but this will be workshop 1 for the Poli-Si CounterIntelligence training. So for those unfamiliar, the mission of Beyond the Looking Glass is a transformative course that invites you to pierce the veil of dualistic perception, the looking glass, and awaken to the unified reality of non-dual consciousness. It's anchored in the innovative Poli-Si template. This course introduces the mirror protocol for self-inquiry, a self-governing framework designed to reject self-deception and cultivate authenticity through the Probing-Sensing-Categorizing-Responding, also known as PSCR workflow, by navigating consciousness and the biofield, the subtle energy field interpenetrating your body. You'll learn to align mind, heart, and nervous system, fostering coherence and sovereignty. The mirror protocol uses rigorous self-inquiry to reflect truth, dismantling distortions, ego biases, and emotional clutter that obscure your authentic self. Through probing questions like, what am I not seeing? And am I lying to myself to avoid a painful truth? You will uncover hidden patterns. By sensing your biofield with practices like body scans and breathwork, you'll attune to energetic wisdom. Categorizing reveals coherent patterns, while responding empowers intentional, courageous action. This process embodies present moment, self-awareness, emotional honesty, self-accountability, tolerance, empathy, self-compassion, determination, self-acceptance, gratitude, forgiveness, and courage, guiding you toward a purified consciousness aligned with truth and transparency. Rooted in consciousness studies and biofield science, this course blends somatic practices, non-dual awareness, and the Poli-Si formula, which is information plus knowledge minus polarity equals coherence, to help you transcend limiting beliefs and navigate reality with clarity. Whether you are a seeker, energy practitioner, or explorer of consciousness, Beyond the Looking Glass offers a practical path to reject self-deception, harmonize your biofield, and contribute to collective awakening. Step through the mirror with the Science of Poli-Si and discover the boundless potential of your conscious, energetic self. So, Jamie, do you want to kick us off with how we led from the counterterrorism, and now we are leading into counterintelligence using the Poli-Si method?
Yeah. So, hi guys, welcome back to Targeted Survivors Training. Moving on from counterterrorism operations to counterintelligence training. Our first session is entitled Creating a Mobius Bridge. The Mobius Bridge is a metaphor for the Mobius strip, being a continuous loop of learning and reflection. The Mobius strip represents non-duality, where polar opposites are drawn together to complete the whole, reminding us of the oneness of all that is. It's a journey that continuously loops back into it. Based on the feedback that I've been receiving from private conversations, we feel it's an opportune time to start working towards an end goal, which is trauma-informed healing practices. Many of you have recognized your distorted patterns, uprooted the unconscious beliefs attached to them, felt into the pain, and have rewritten the storyline. It's time to start the dialogue on how to release trauma slow and safe over time. I'd like to reiterate the fact that Melissa and I are not trained professionals and do not have any certifications based on our current systems hierarchy. However, we are average people who figured it out based on the necessity, and we're passing along these practices to you. What's important to understand about trauma is that it isn't just a memory. It's a Mobius echo, a dynamic recursion glitch, a moment that couldn't resolve and now loops through your body and mind. It lives in the fascia, the breath, the muscle tone, and even the doubts that whisper in quiet moments. But here's what nobody tells you. These loops are not permanent. They're actually signals seeking resolution. And with awareness, breath, and action, they can be united. When a loop keeps resurfacing, it's not a sign of being stuck. It's a call to action to witness what was never fully seen. By engaging with these signals through the Poli-Si Probing-Sensing-Categorizing-Responding workflow, you can transform them from distortions into bridges. The loop doesn't vanish, rather it evolves, guiding you towards healing and purpose. This approach empowers you to decode trauma signals, not as burdens, but as invitations to resync with your body's innate wisdom. When unwelcome fear arises, we pause, breathe, listen, and reflect. The loop is speaking, and with the right tools, you can help find its way home. The Mobius bridge redefines trauma as a dynamic process rather than a fixed wound. It's like the Mobius strip. It involves returning to the same point but seeing things differently time and again. A loop that once felt like a prison becomes a bridge to self-understanding, resilience, and connection. So authentic coherence is the access point for the soul's resonance. No system can control a fully coherent human being, not one whose memory, soul, and free will are intact. Coherent individuals with their agency and authenticity pose a challenge for systems because they rely on fragmentation and control. When you're self-governing and resonate at a frequency that cannot be mimicked, you become a glitch in the system that's rooted in a deep understanding of your mind, brain, heart, nervous system, and free will choice. Coherence is not a belief or something that you can purchase. It's a frequency bandwidth you earn through persistent effort. It requires deprogramming polarized perceptions and synthetic resonances that keep you misaligned through artificial patterns. Coherence requires us to release distortions by giving up a judgment, attachment, and expectation, by embracing instead a holistic awareness that integrates past, present, and future in the eternal now. Present moment awareness is where resonance emerges. It's the harmonious tune that aligns your being with universal truth. Authentic coherence also requires us to reverse engineer distorted perceptions, intentions, and behaviors as we follow the loop to your soul. We achieve this by reclaiming the lost, broken, stolen, rejected, and forgotten aspects of self as we build authentic coherence. Coherence is the recursive echo of clarity that reverberates through all dimensions built from present moment self-awareness. And all of this is made possible through observer intelligence by witnessing our thoughts, emotions, and ego without being consumed by them. This process is not easy. It involves confronting the inertia of old timelines, taming the inner critic, and mastering the ego's chatter. Coherence cannot be faked or thought into existence because mimicry falls short of true resonance. Resonance is the bullseye, the clear signal of alignment and intent that carries your authentic frequency. Coherence is a front row seat to reality and a state of being where you perceive, act, and exist in harmony with the present moment. It's a frequency that requires constant maintenance, forged through patience, determination, and a commitment to inner healing. No one or nothing can hand it to you. You must build it yourself in a world of synthetic spaces and programmed minds. Authentic coherence is your greatest weapon and the only defense you will ever need. It's an act of sovereignty and a testament to the power of aligning with your soul's truth. The system fears coherence because it's no match. Decoding trauma signals and transforming time-locked loops into healing pathways. Your heart races, your breath catches, and a wave of fear surges through your body. Yet you're in a physically safe environment. This isn't a reaction to the present moment. It's a signal from a time-locked memory loop, a recursive glitch stored deep in your nervous system. Trauma doesn't just live in the past. It reverberates through your fascia, breath, dreams, and reflexes, waiting for resolution. By decoding these signals with intention and awareness, you can interrupt the loop, rewrite the ending, and transform pain into purpose. Poli-Si's mirror protocol, used with the Probing-Sensing-Categorizing-Responding workflow, is a fail-safe mechanism when applied through non-judgment, non-attachment, and non-expectation. So I was going to kind of read through, but I don't want to lose everybody on the process, but we're going to do that through the guided journey. So does anybody want to speak up, say anything before we move forward?
Everybody's quiet today. They're ready to dive in.
All right, so I'll go ahead and read the probing, sensing, categorizing, responding. It's brief. So recognizing the signal. The first step in decoding a trauma signal is to probe its origin. When fear or discomfort arises in a safe setting, pause and ask, is this response to the present, or is it a memory loop resurfacing? These reactions stem from unresolved moments to events that couldn't fully be processed and now replay in your body's wiring. By identifying the sensation as a potential trauma recursion, you begin to disentangle it from the present moment, setting the stage for deeper awareness. Tuning to the body's wisdom through sensing. Rather than suppressing or overriding your fears, lean into it. Sense where it lives in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or a shallowness in your breath? Acknowledge the sensation by stating, either internally or out loud, this is a memory loop, not current danger. This simple act shifts the signal from an unconscious reflex to a conscious experience, creating space for transformation. By witnessing the sensation without judgment, you allow your nervous system to begin processing what was once stuck. Naming the distortion through categorization. Next, categorize the signal by tracing its roots. Ask, what moment is this echoing? If a specific memory surfaces, a childhood fear, a moment of loss, or overwhelming experience, naming it begins to dissolve its grip. If no clear memory emerges, classify the sensation as a recursive glitch, a moment that couldn't resolve itself, now loops through your nervous system, muscle tone, and even your dreams. Understanding that trauma lives not just in the mind, but in the body's tissues and reflexes helps you see the loop for what it is, a signal-seeking resynchronization, rewriting the loop through responding. The final step is to respond with intentional actions that interrupt and reframe the trauma loop. Anchor to the breath. Structured breathing protocols create harmonic coherence in your nervous system. Example, inhale 4 seconds, hold for 3.12 seconds, and exhale with a hum or whisper, aiming for a tone around 280.90 hertz. This practice disrupts the loop by grounding your body in the present and calming an overactive stress response. So the hum is very important and is very soothing, you will find. So I do inhale for 4, hold for 3.12, and then exhale. I do all kinds of stuff. The hum is critical in the release. You will see. So this practice disrupts the loop by grounding your body in the present moment and calming the overactive stress response. So you give the body a new ending. Trauma loops lock the body into old patterns like fleeing, freezing, or fighting. To rewrite the recursion, do the opposite of what the loop expects. Example, if you froze in the original moment, move gently, stretch, shake, or walk. If you used to run, stay still and breathe deeply. These actions signal to your nervous system that the danger has passed, creating a new narrative for the memory. Holding space for transformation. The loop isn't your enemy. It's a sacred signal waiting to be witnessed. By holding space for it, observing without becoming consumed, you allow the recursion to stabilize. Over time, this process can invert the loop, turning it into a Mobius bridge where pain becomes the pathway to purpose. Melissa?
Are we ready to dive into the guided journey?
Whatever, if anybody wants to speak up or has any examples of how they've been applying the processes.
Yes, that would be good. And one thing that did come to mind when you were talking about the humming is very important for the vagus nerve. It helps stimulate that and helps it to calm and release. So humming, chanting, singing, all of those things help our vagus nerve, which, when we are on, circuit overload and in a moment, it really helps center us. Is there anyone that has gone through the counterterrorism series and would like to share any feedback to those who are new or maybe first joining with this workshop?
I just have a question. If there's somebody that's new that has not gone through the first series of programs, do they need to do that first before doing this one?
Okay. So the counterterrorism, we basically laid out the blueprint of what we were going to do, and we're just sort of tying it all in together. We're learning as we go, basically. But the framework is built out of what we are doing. So I think you can, if you wouldn't mind calling me, and we could have a quick conversation to see where you are and make sure that you understand what we're doing. I can tell you briefly. So we began our journey. Poli-Si stands for Policing Science, Thought, and Systems. We are not a belief system. We are a set of protocols and procedures to help people connect with themselves deeper. Our process is building observer intelligence, connecting to the inner critic and inner dialogue, and building present moment self-awareness through our template, which is present moment self-awareness, emotional honesty, self-accountability, tolerance, empathy, self-compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, and courage. So I don't know where you are. I would say it's probably a good idea to have some of the information under your belt because we're moving into uprooting these energies that we've been talking about. So that's a good question. I'm sorry it took me so long to answer it.
And the videos for the counterterrorism series, there were 7 sessions. They are available on the Chosen Heroes YouTube channel. There are also, Jamie has created a Quantum Reality Studies YouTube channel. They are there as well. And all else failed, for the materials, to get caught up on the materials that were presented within each one of those sessions, just email me at chosen_heroes@proton.me. I can get you caught up on the documentation for the counterterrorism series and also provide the quick links to the teleconference accompanying
Yes.
teleconference.
So in a nutshell, we are teaching a self-governing, active learning, defense and response model of thought combined with a non-dual somatic program language. We are teaching people how to take full control over their mind, brain, heart, nervous system, and free will, creating one network, a communication network, to be able to filter out distortions. So ultimately, we're teaching how the mind functions multidimensionally in time through a physics engine. And our intent is to help you create a cryptographic mind and a cyber-secured neural network. So we can maneuver through what we're maneuvering through, teaching you how to claim your agency, obtain your sovereignty, and the steps to do that.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments before we do our guided meditation?
So the guided meditation, yet again, is another probing, sensing, categorizing, responding experience. This is kind of where we're hovering right now, so we can get the self-governing, active learning processes down.
All right. Well, let's dive into our guided journey, which is the Poli-Si, CounterIntelligence, and Mobius Bridge Trauma Healing for Targeted Survivors. And this will be included in the documentation that you'll receive. I will email it to you after the class, along with a link to the video for today's call as well. So you'll have, some people are more, visual, and some are, more, hearing based as far as their preferred learning methods. So you'll have, both. So I'll get that out afterwards. So before we get into the guided journey, it would be helpful to have a journal and pen close by, because as you work through these processes, things come to mind, and sometimes they can be fleeting, as we know as being targeted survivors, that we get something and then it's gone. So it's always good to jot these things down that you can refer back to at a later point in time. So why don't we just give, a minute or so for everybody, just in case they don't have anything close by to go grab, maybe some paper and a pen. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to put my email address in for the previous class materials and video links for the counterterrorism series. Okay. So welcome to this guided journey, and this is a sacred space for targeted survivors to reclaim strength and transform trauma into purpose. You're not alone. Your body is a powerful technology, and your biofield is an antenna for detecting signals. Trauma is a Mobius echo, a loop seeking resolution not a prison. You will use the probing-sensing-categorizing-responding cycle to navigate these signals and build a Mobius bridge to healing. So find a comfortable seated position, feet flat on the ground, hands resting on your heart or your lap. Now close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take 3 deep breaths with me. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a gentle hum for 5 seconds. Feeling your biofield glow with resonance. Let's go ahead and do the second breath. Inhale on 4. And hold for 3.25 seconds. Exhale with a gentle hum for 5 seconds. Remember to feel your biofield glow with resonance. Final breath then. On the count, inhale on a count of 4. Hold for 3.25. And exhale with a gentle hum for 5 seconds. Feeling your biofield radiating and glowing with resonance. This is the OmniLens protocol. You are rooted, safe, and present. Let's begin. Sit comfortably and follow the OmniLens breathing protocol. And visualize a resonant biofield glow surrounding you. Now is the time to release any static, tension, trauma loops with each exhale, grounding in the present. Continue the breathing. Biofield is humming and glowing and resonating. This activates the parasympathetic response, calming the amygdala to create a safe foundation. Now we're going to begin probing, recognizing signals and the trauma loops. Let's probe the signals in your body and environment. Ask silently, what signals are present? Is this a response to now? A memory loop resurfacing? Notice any sensations, tightness, warmth, or thoughts like doubt or fear. These may be static from external sources of trauma or trauma loops seeking resolution. There is no need to fix or fight them. Just observe. If a sensation feels intense, say to yourself, this is a signal, not my reality. So take a moment to explore. What do you notice? Now silently probe for biofield signals. Tingling, pressure. Where is it located? Or trauma loops, sudden anxiety, or intrusive thoughts. Note the sensation's location and quality. Is it resonant or static? Without labeling it as good or bad. An example would be, I feel a knot in my stomach. Maybe a trauma loop or static from my environment. Next, probe the context of signals or trauma, distinguishing present sensations from recursive glitches. This provides a nervous system benefit. Engages observer intelligence, reducing reactive responses, and fostering curiosity. Next, we're going to move into sensing, tuning into the biofield's wisdom. And the purpose is to deepen awareness of biofield signals. Resonance versus static, and trauma loops, using somatic sensing to ground in the body. So let's sense where these signals live in your biofield. Focus on your body. Where do you feel resonance? You're looking for warmth or calm. Now, where do you feel static? Like tension or unease. If a trauma loop arises, like a racing heart or fear, say silently, this is a memory loop. not current danger. Lean into the sensation gently. Breathing with omni-lens. An inhale of 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum for 5. Notice the sensation shift as you witness it without judgment. You're tuning into your body's wisdom, creating space for healing. Continue sensing. Now let's expand to your environment. Slowly open your eyes or widen your awareness. Sense the space around you. Any resonance, like a calming presence. Now search for any static, like a hum or unease. Journal what you sense or hold it in your mind. Now sense biofield signals in the body, looking for tightness in the chest, warmth in hands, noting resonance or static. Acknowledge trauma loops. This is a fear, this is a loop, not now. Using omni-lens breathing to stay present. Expand your awareness to the environment, noting spatial signals. Static near my phone, resonance near my anchor. Journal or mentally note findings. Example would be chest tightness, static hum to my left. Now we're going to work on PSCR integration and sense the biofield and environmental signals grounding trauma loops in the present. The nervous system benefit is it enhances interoceptive awareness, calming sympathetic arousal, and fostering safety. Now we're moving into categorizing, naming signals and loops as neutral data. Organizing the biofield signals and trauma loops as neutral data, reducing their emotional charge, and building a Mobius bridge. Now it's time to categorize these signals that you've identified as data, not threats. For each sensation identified, static resonance or trauma loop, ask, what moment is this echoing? If a memory surfaces, name it gently. This tightness echoes a past fear, is an example. And if no memory appears, call it a recursive glitch seeking resolution. You can write or think, this is data. Tightness in chest, static near door, thought of doubt. To transform a trauma loop into a Mobius bridge, hold space for it and say silently, this loop is a signal, not my enemy. Use only lens breathing to soften its grip. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum. for 5. One more time. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum for 5. Notice how naming it as data creates space for healing. I encourage you to journal your categories or hold them in your mind. You can categorize biosignals, resonance, warm hands, static, buzzing in ears, trauma, fear loop. Trace the trauma loops or past events or label as glitches using phrases like, "This is a memory, not now." Use the omni-lens breathing to neutralize emotional charge. Visualizing the loop as a bridge to purpose. Journal or mentally note categories. Examples would be static hum, external data, fear, past event echo. PSCR integration. Categorize signals and trauma loops as neutral data, reframing them as bridges to healing. And the nervous system benefit, it reduces amygdala reactivity, fostering neutrality and trauma resolution. Now we're going to move into responding, transforming loops into Mobius bridges. And the purpose is to respond non-dually to biofield signals and trauma loops using somatic actions to rewrite narratives and counter threats. Let's respond to these signals with intention, building a Mobius bridge to purpose. For static or trauma triggers, we'll use 3 actions. Anchor to breathe, give the body a new ending, and hold space for transformation. First, anchor to breath. Use Omni Lens. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum for 5. Visualizing resonance, expanding in your biofield. Feel the static or trauma loops soften. We are going to go through 3 breaths of the Omni Lens. First one, inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum for 5. Being sure to visualize resonance expanding in your biofield upon exhale. Static and trauma loops are softening. Second breath. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale for 5 with a hum. Final breath in. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum for 5. Being sure to visualize resonance expanding in your biofield. Feeling static or trauma loops soften. Now it's time to give your body a new ending. If a trauma loop feels like freezing, gently stretch or shake your arms for 30 seconds. If it feels like fleeing, stay still and breathe deeply. If static feels overwhelming, ground yourself by touching your anchor or imagining a safe memory. Finally, hold space for transformation. Say silently, "This loop is a bridge to my strength." Visualize it evolving into a pathway of resilience, connecting you to purpose. If you're in a space with static, like a hum, respond by noting it calmly. This is data, not danger. Journal your response or hold it in your heart. Now it's time to anchor to omni-lens breathing. Visualizing resonance, gratitude, dissolving static or trauma loops. You can rewrite the trauma loops with somatic actions. Shake if frozen. Stay still if you're feeling like fleeing, to signal safety. Hold space for transformation. Affirming to yourself, this loop is a bridge. And visualize resilience. Respond to external static, like a hum, by noting it neutrally and grounding with the anchor. Journal or mentally note the response. Example would be, shook out fear, felt resonance return. The PSCR integration is respond non-dually, transforming trauma loops into Mobius bridges, encountering static with coherence. The nervous system benefit, it discharges sympathetic activation and it boosts heart rate variability and stabilizes trauma responses. We're going to move into closing and integration. And the purpose is to consolidate the journey, reinforce empowerment, and provide tools for ongoing practice. You've built a Mobius bridge, transforming trauma loops and static into pathways of strength. Now we're going to take 3 final omni-lens breaths. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum for 5. Feeling your biofield glow with resilience. Next breath in. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale for a hum with a hum for 5. Final breath. Inhale for 4. Hold for 3.12. Exhale with a hum for 5. Feeling your biofield glow with resilience. You are not your trauma. You are a survivor, reclaiming your sovereignty. Reflect on one signal or loop you transformed today. How did it feel to reframe it as a bridge? Take the time to journal this or share it with a trusted friend. To continue this journey, practice one technique daily. Start with resonance-focused breath or non-dual signal observation. Connect with survivor communities to amplify your resonance. You've stepped beyond the looking glass. Carry this strength forward. And be sure to complete final omni-lens breath, visualizing a resonant biofield. Journal or reflect on one transform signal or loop. Making note, for example, turned fear into a bridge by breathing. Commit to daily practice, 5 to 10 minutes of a chosen technique, and seek trusted survivor community support. In the PSCR integration, reflect on the full cycle, reinforcing non-dual responses in trauma transformation. The nervous system benefit, it solidifies parasympathetic calm, fostering long-term resilience and empowerment. Would anyone like to share anything that may have came up during the meditation? Any questions? I know sometimes when you're doing this type of a meditation that is intensive and extensive, it can be overwhelming and a little confusing. But this is why we provide the link to the video today and to reflect back on, along with the accompanying documentation. And you're not alone in this. And if something isn't, gelling, and you need to, don't hesitate to reach out, because the support is there for you to help you work through and understand these processes and the importance of, releasing and reframing threats and trauma. Again, anyone with questions or comments or something they would like to share?
So I would like to mention that the PSCR workflow is how we're building an organic life timeline and neural network. It's the workflow that's guiding us to reprogram the mind, rewire the brain, and balance the nervous system through the self-governing active learning for coherence and authenticity. So this is the neural network that we're building. So instead of knee-jerk responses, autonomic nervous system responses, we're taking control, we're becoming aware of them, and then we're guiding them into a different response, which takes us into a new timeline. So a new response and a new action changes the trajectory. Can you see how it's tying in now? Is it obvious yet, Melissa, or?
I do, yes. I know that sometimes, me being very analytical and everything, I can sometimes get hung up on words and get in my head in trying to comprehend. But we need to, when we get a little overwhelmed and we're focusing on some of the language, we just need to kind of step back and feel into it, so that we can, when we step back, we can kind of see the bigger picture. Because I'm a very granular detail person, and while I'm doing and reading things, I'm constantly being inquisitive. These are the times.
Can I call you?
Okay,
she just started to call me. I'm on this meeting.
I put him on pause. So this is the time where we need to you have to go with the flow with it and just trust the process, and then you will begin to understand it. Everybody has a different learning styles and such, but again, Jamie is available to answer any questions if you feel like you're not understanding a step, or if just something isn't gelling, then reach out. And then now, if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate and ask. This is a safe space. We're all learning. We are running after and embracing our healing, which we deserve. It is our birthright. We are disconnecting from, all the things that we have been subjected to and the falsitude of things and that matrix programming, and we're just chasing our healing.
That was a beautiful guided journey, Melissa. Thank you.
You have been blessed with getting the downloads to come up with all this. Is just amazing work. It's very important in this time. There's so much lack of transparency, even though it's labeled as truth and transparency. This is why we have to continue sensing and probing and getting to the root of what is authentic, who we are, what we resonate with, what we've been led to resonate with that does not. It doesn't speak to us. This is the time to chase what resonates with you, and this is such a beautiful way of self-discovery and healing. One thing that comes to mind is when we can be labeled, or it can be perceived and distorted. It's a distortion. That chasing inner healing, being vulnerable to release it, is perceived as weakness. Crying and releasing and letting it purge from you is no sign of a weakness. It has to get out. It's like a bottle with that is just it's filled with carbonated water, and it's been open, and then the lid got put back and somebody shook it. It's just going to explode if it doesn't have a way to have all of that air released from it, right? And it's the same thing when it comes to what we push down every single day that doesn't resonate with us. It's like a pressure cooker. And it's in our tissue, it's in our subconscious, and it is signaling and alerting us, wanting to liberate and free it. It's saying, hey, you need to take action on this and to release it. Create space to let it go. Let it come up. I noticed that, just one more thing that I'm so glad to share, is things can be going along just fine. You think that, oh yes, I'm on an up cycle. Things are flowing. And then it takes one little thing that upsets the apple cart. And then you're right back into your loop. So that's what these techniques and these steps do, is they help recenter you during that moment so that you're not going through this, one thing that upset the apple cart. And instead of it taking days to process through, maybe not even fully processing, you can go ahead and take quick action to it to soften it and reframe it to release it.
If that's what this neural network does, eventually it'll be second nature. You'll automatically probe, sense, categorize, and respond properly. You won't get hemmed up in the drama of things. You'll be able to connect the dots quicker.
And when doing these self-healing practices and techniques, be sure to afford yourself grace. There's no wrong. Just keep trying, right? You're just chipping away at it. Again, you're chasing what you deserve, which is your healing. Anyone want to share or have a question before we go? Jamie, do you want
this is Simon. Thanks for muting me. I didn't realize I was unmuted. And thanks for the session.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you showing up, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks from today. Let me just bring up my calendar here.
Can we do 2 o'clock again? Or
yeah. So 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so 2 weeks from today is going to be on July 26th. And at those times. And thank you again for your participation today. I will be sending out the materials shortly. You'll get a guide, and then you'll get the video link. And if any questions come up, I think sometimes when you see the documentation and then you play through the video again, it really kind of integrates and solidifies a little more. So again, if anything comes up, if you need some guidance or help, you can reach out to Jamie at quantumrealitystudies@yahoo.com. If you need counterterrorism, the previous series information, don't hesitate. Reach out to me at chosen_heroes@proton.me, and I'll get you the information. And again, thanks so much for joining us here today, and look forward to having you join us at our next session.
Thanks, guys. Have a beautiful couple weeks.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.